Hey everyone, today's video is going to be on FreeCad, and FreeCad is just like it sounds. It's a free open source software package that will allow you to design things for your CNC router or any other type of machining that you're going to do, or for your 3D printer. I use it a ton for my 3D printer. It does have a bit of a learning curve, but I'm telling you, it is worth every minute that you're going to put into it. You get so much back from it. And FreeCad's been around for quite a while now, and it's very well supported. So it's not like it's just going to come and go like some of the other software packages that were out there. And let me tell you, this thing is capable of designing about anything. I mean, I've used Fusion 360 before, and I really like FreeCad. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to do a quick design. I'm going to show you some of the toolbar, some of the functionality of FreeCad, and then we're going to design a project box, because we use these project boxes a lot in electronics, holding Arduinos, things like that. So we'll design the box itself, and then we're going to design the lid and show you how to put those together. And I'll even make it a little assembly thing to show you how you can snap those together to make sure you get a good fit on it. Now, you're not going to learn everything you want to know about FreeCad, but this will help you stick your toes in the water and see if you want to invest some more time in it. And what I did, and I found this very beneficial, I went and got this book, FreeCad, off of Amazon. And it's very helpful. It has step-by-step instructions in it. I know there's a lot of other videos out there, very good videos on FreeCad out there, but for any of you that follow me, I just wanted to give it a big thumbs up. So without further ado, let's get into FreeCad. So let's jump right in, shall we? We're going to click on here and we're going to open up our FreeCad. And we want to create a new file here. So we'll click on Create New. And then you'll see up here where it says Start. You want to click on that, and you want to come to Part Design. You'll see a lot of different options in here, and you'll get, as you get more advanced, you'll be able to use these. But for the purpose of our tutorial here, and just even for most of the general designs you're going to do, you just click on Part Design. Now we need to create a sketch, and you can see I can come up here, and this gives me a lot of different options, and I could do the create a sketch there, and it's also on this toolbar here. So let's create a sketch, and we need to have a plane, and by and large we're going to use the XY plane, so we'll click that, and now we have our grid here. Now, I'm going to be designing this in metric. I use metric most generally, but you could, if you really wanted to use inch, you could come up to Edit and Preferences, and in the units, you could change that to imperial. But we'll just stick with our metric. And we'll go over the toolbar here just briefly. It's something you can study later. This is like for creating a point, a line, your arcs, your circles, polylines, rectangles, hexagons. There's so many different features on here. This is for creating a fillet, trimming, and we'll go over this explode button here later. This is for doing the constraints, and that is a very important and powerful function of FreeCad. So what we're going to do, we're going to make our utility box, and these are great little project boxes. And you can modify them, but once you've made a utility box, you can use it for so many different projects. So why don't we just click on the rectangle here, and we'll start up in this corner, and we'll click on that and just let off of there and hit that left click button. Now I'm going to hit the right mouse button to deactivate that, and I want to get this centered up and add a constraint to it. So I'm going to click on this one, and then the XY origin. I'm going to come up here where this bar says and create symmetry constraint. Click on that, and now that is perfectly lined up there. So let's make our utility box. We're going to make this 125 millimeters by 80 millimeters. So I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to come here, and for the horizontal one, I'm just going to write in 125 millimeters. And then I'll just scroll to reduce that. You pull back on your middle scroll button. And now I'm going to come here with the vertical one and hit that. And I'm going to make that 80 millimeters. Now you see that this has become green. This becomes green because it is constrained. I'm going to right click on that. Now I need to close out of this. And I could do that here, leave the object. And I'm going to go over to this magnifying glass, and it fits the whole content because you're not seeing it. Click on that. And then I'm going to come over here so I get the isometric view. Now I want to make this and give this some depth. I'm going to come to pad. And on that, I want to make this 50 millimeters high. And there we go. And I'm going to click OK. While I have this here, I want to get my thickness. So I'm going to click on the very top of this. And I'm going to go thickness. And I'm going to enter it in. I want those walls to be 3 millimeters thick. And the mode skin is fine. Where it says arc, you want to put this at intersection. And click this, make thickness inward. We're going to click OK. And there we have our box. But we're going to want to put something, we're going to make a pocket in here, and we're going to put a corner. We can't just put these holes in here, it'd be too close. So what we need is some fillets in here, our chamfers. So let's do this. Let's go to the draw style and make this a wireframe. From there, I can see these inside corners. I'm going to hit my control button, click that corner, and now to rotate this, I want you to push your middle scroll button and your right mouse button at the same time, and you'll be able to scroll that. So again, that's your center mouse button, the scroll wheel, and the right mouse button. Hit control again, click on that, hold control, click on that. Then I could come and hit my isometric view. And I'm going to go to my chamfer, and I want to make that 6 millimeters. That's going to give me plenty of meat in there. We're going to hit OK. And now I want to turn that back on so I can see that. Let's go to flat lines. There's our flat lines. So we're good. So now I want to work on this surface here to put these holes in it. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go create sketch again. And now this part's really important. You want to make sure you do this. You want to come over. This is that explode button. It is creating an edge to link for the external geometry. So click that and make sure you hit the outside lines of this right here. Right click on that. Now I'm going to hit my circle button, and I want center and rim point. And let's zoom that in. And I just did that by hitting the scroll wheel to zoom that out. And just get these anywhere located in there. And in here, right click. So we need to get our constraints. So we're going to make this circle here and this circle here equal. So come up to this equal, and it creates an equality restraint. Now I want this one and this one. I'll constrain that, this one, and this one. So what that does, when I want to set my size, I can just come up here to constrain the diameter or constrain the radius, hit one of them, and I'm going to say I want this at, say 3 millimeters. We're going to change that later when we do the threaded hole. but we'll just put 3 millimeters in there. So now what I need, and we'll right click off that, I want to zoom in here, and I'm going to give it a horizontal and vertical constraint. So let's do the vertical. Hit that center point and that center point. And let's put this at 4 millimeters down, and we'll have it at 4 millimeters in as well. And just pan up, and in order to pan, push that scroll wheel on your mouse. Hit that and that, 4 millimeters. Pan over, that and that, 4 millimeters again. And again, 4 millimeters. Now let's do horizontally. Same thing. And one more time. And when you see this, it's going to turn green. And that is because it's constrained. You need to have that turn green, or any project that you're working on, or any function. That way you know all the features are constrained. We're going to get out of this again. Click this up arrow here. And now we want to, we're going to, like I say, we're going to 3D print this. So let's go to this whole function. And the profile, I want it to be a metric thread. And I want this threaded, and I want a right-hand thread. So I want a 2.5 millimeter thread that I'm going to use in there. And my depth, I want the, that's just a class of thread. And the depth, let's make sure you move that over, and I clicked on that, and then I left clicked until I got that value in there. Let's make that 15 millimeters deep. And the hole cut type, we'll just leave that a straight thread for now. And that's all we're going to do. So it should look just like this right here, and we're going to click OK. Now that when that prints, that'll print a threaded piece in there. All right, so now what we want to do is create a pocket, because we're going to drop that lid in there. So we need to go back in here and click until you get this all highlighted. There we go. And we're going to create a sketch again. Again, we're going to have to come and explode that. Highlight that. Right click, and we're going to need another rectangle. And just put it anywhere there. Now we're going to make this all symmetrical again. Pick those 3 points just like I did right there and hit that. And now we can give it the value we want. Now because this is going to be 3D printed, you don't want to make something size on size. So I want this to have a little gap in here. So instead of making it a millimeter thick, I'm going to actually make it 0.9. So I'm going to come and constrain this and make that 0.9 millimeters. And then I'm going to do that vertically and make that 0.9 millimeters. And you can see that it's green. So now I'll be able to create a pocket. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to come to pocket. And you can see that already put that value in there. So how thick do I want that lid? I think 4 millimeters is going to be thick enough on that. So let's go 4 millimeters. And that part is ready to go. Now I can put some radiuses on here, just like I did the fillets. Let's show you how to do that really quick. Let's go to this, and let's go back to the wireframe. And I can click like on this outside. And again, the center scroll wheel and the right mouse, and hold that control. And then let's go with a fillet. Let's just go and make that, oh, maybe 0.15. Just a little break on there so it's not razor sharp. And then I'm going to go here and hit flat lines and hit my isometric view. And so we're good. We're good to go. So let's save that. We're going to go File and then Save As, and we're going to give this a name. We're going to call it Box 25. Just an arbitrary number. And we'll save that in our FreeCAD. Oop, it wanted me to close that. Before I can save it, I have to close that one more time. So now I can come in here and save that. Okay, so now we can close that out. And we're going to start a new one. We're going to make that lid. So we're going to create new. And again, hit our sketch button and our XY plane. Click OK. And we'll do a rectangle. Right click to shut that down. Click that one, this one, and the center. Hit this symmetric again. So now I want this to be able to fit into that pocket. So I want 0.9. I'm going to make this a millimeter shorter on each side. So if I had it at 125 millimeters long, I want it to be 123 millimeters so it's going to fit. So let's give that a vertical dimension, and we're going to go 123 millimeters. And we'll scroll down to shrink that. And we're going to hit that one, and we're going to give it a vertical value. If that was 80 millimeters, we want a millimeter on each side. That's going to be 78 millimeters. Click OK. Now we are fully constrained, and we're going to close that. Click on the Fit All and the Isometric View. And now we want this pad, we want this to be 4 millimeters thick. That's how deep our pocket is. Now I'm going to click on this and create a sketch. And so from here, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one. I will explode that view. That gives me these edges as a reference point. There we go. So now I want to do the same thing, is put a hole here, centered rim point. Right click, again, click Fat, and this, make them equal. This and this, and make them equal. And this and this, and make them equal. Now let's constrain that, and we're going to make a countersink there, so it doesn't really matter. We just want them to fit. I'm going to say that that's going to be 3 millimeters, and it made them all 3 millimeters. Right click to escape. Let's do our vertical one. So now if we're coming in and we know that there's a millimeter off of each side that we want to do that, instead of being 4 millimeters, this needs to be at 3 millimeters. So we're going to click that center, and we got that highlighted, and that, make that 3 millimeters. And this one 3 millimeters. And again, right click. Let's do the vertical. All right, they are highlighted green. It means we're ready to go. We'll close out of that. And now what we want to do is we want these countersinks in here. So we're going to go back up to the hole feature. And the profile, we're going to go, it's a metric coarse thread. And leave the threaded off of there. And what size is it? We decided we were going with 2.5 millimeter screw size. So we could either put it a counterbore, countersink. We're going to do a countersink in here. And there you go. You can see that'll be, ends up being just right for us. We'll click OK. Now that lid is ready to be printed, so we'll close out of that. Leave the object. Now we got to give this a name and file, save as, and we're just going to go lid 25. And we close out of that. And now I can see if it's going to fit. This is something you can do with that. You can create a new file here. And if you don't have this loaded on here, you'll have to populate your bar here with this. A2 Plus is an assembly. So I just put it in the assembly mode and I created a new file. Now what I want to do is go save as, and I'm going to go say project box 25 and then assembly. So I'm going to bring in those, add a part from an external file. We'll do that, and I want box 25. I see that down there, and we'll open that. And now I want to bring in my lid. And this is just a, you don't have to do this. This is just to double check it for fit. 25. And I'll place that up there. So what I want to do, I'll click on this feature here. Center mouse or center scroll and right. Click on that. Hit Control, click on that again. Here are my planes, and so I want to create a coincident plane restraint right on this one right here. And I'm going to want to offset that by 0.15 because that's the difference I made in that. Move that over, and now I want this, that scroll button and right at the same time. Control, hold that, go to this plane, and I want this 0.15. Okay. Now I'm going to pick this bottom and hit Control. And with that center wheel, scroll wheel and the right mouse, that's how I'm rotating that. Now I'll hit the Control again, and I'm going to pick this. And I want that to be coincident on that. So I click on that, and there you go. We'll accept that. And I look at that, and that matches up just fine. So that's it. It's kind of a quick tutorial, nothing really fancy, but it gives you an introduction and you can see the power of FreeCAD. And there's just a lot more features on that, and hopefully I'll be able to get to make some more advanced videos for you here. And I'm going to try and, well, I will make a video showing you how to do some 3D printing off of this and create them using Cura and my Creality CR10 printer. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching.